Hello and welcome back to Quartzlight, your car brochure channel. In today's episode, it's Ford Friday, so we're continuing our Christmassy theme with this December 1975 edition of a Ford brochure, and we're up to the facelifted Mark III Ford Cortina. Welcome back, and if you're new to Quartzlight, we're a car brochure channel where we look at car brochures from around the world for the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s. So if you're interested in cars and car brochures, please consider subscribing. Anyway, today is Ford Friday. Happy weekend. Hope your week went well. Ford Friday is where we look at a Ford every Friday, and it's the turn of the Ford Cortina. What we've been doing, we've been looking at this sort of Christmassy themed Ford brochure from December 1975. I'm just kind of like working out which car we would pick from this brochure if we wanted a car for Christmas in 1975. We looked at the Escort last week. No Fiesta, remember, at this time, so your Escort is your base model. Now we're up to the Cortina. It's the facelifted Mark III. A couple of weeks ago on Ford Friday we looked at the pre-facelift. Now it's the facelifted model, so let's have a look at that now. So there is our front cover, and like I say, very Christmassy, isn't it? And that's where we're kind of like thinking what we will get for Christmas. At the bottom here it says, make it a value for money Christmas with Ford. A lot of value for money, little slogans going on there. 75. You know, we're thinking a bit more fuel conscious around that time, weren't we? And we're certainly looking to save our pennies. Anyway, let's open the brochure up and see our first page. So we ended last week looking at the Escort specifications. Here is the Ford Cortina, still using the VFM, value for money. It says at the top here, the Ford Cortina, now even better appointed, even better value for money. And you'll very much notice with Fords, as they get later on in their production run, the more bits of equipment you can start getting as standard. The Mark III ran till 76, I think around about September 76, something around then, when the Mark IV came out. So again, to the end of the run. It does say on here, all Ford Cortinas now have fabric seats, loop pile carpet, cigar lighter, heated rear window, hazard warning flashes, servo assistance, front disc brakes. So we've got a lot more extras on there that we didn't normally get as standard on the Cortina. But anyway, let's open the brochure up and see which model comes first. So this is where your line starts. The Cortina Saloon, you're not even an L, so we're thinking real budget here. Very lowly. You can imagine, you know, Fords of this era, the base models weren't particularly well equipped, and this is where your lineup would start if you could just about afford to get a Cortina. This is what you got, showing this very unusual 2-door, although you could get it as a 4-door as well. Now I often say that I actually preferred the sort of styling of the pre-facelift with the nice round headlights and that sloping dashboard. The sloping dashboard is obviously gone. We've got a much more traditional looking dashboard now, but if you got the base model, at least you could still get these round headlights on the base model, although we've kind of lost that nice chrome grille, unfortunately. Anyway, we'll have a look at some of these texts and then we'll zoom in on some of these images. So the Cortina Saloon, good looks and reliability, more standard features, more value for money. Tells us on here the Cortina Saloon comes fully equipped with carpet, fabric trim, cigar lighter, radial ply tyres, black exterior trim, hazard warning flashes, servo assisted disc brakes, heated rear window, reversing lamps and much more. So you certainly got a little bit more on this base model now, but like I say, it was certainly still very much a base model, available as a 1300 or indeed as a 1600, available as a 2 or 4-door. Now I'm not going to read all the text, but of course you can pause the screen at any time if you do want to look at any more text on there. Okay, so here is the rest of the text there for the exterior and interior equipment. I'm not going to read through all of that. I think we can probably sum it up by saying that 1300 is standard, 1600 optional, servo assisted front disc brakes, easy rear window, fabric trim and loop pile carpet, reversing lights, radial ply tyres. A little bit of a zoom in on that interior. Yeah, it looks a little bit black, a little bit dull, but at least, you know, fabric trim now. That's certainly a step up from having to have vinyl on your base model. And then if we zoom to the picture next to it, we can have a look at that single round headlight now on the base model. Changes as we go up the model range, and sort of a black grille rather than a nice chrome grille that we used to get. One thing I didn't realise on this very base model is the bottom was actually painted black. Whenever I saw any of these on the road, I just assumed someone had patched it up, you know, to hide the rust, but that's how they came, with this lower portion black up to the doors. Only on this model. If we look at the other versions higher up, it is paint colour right to the very bottom. I guess, you know, in a couple of years' time, that's what people used to do to all of them, isn't it? To cover up all the rust, rub it down, put some black paint on there, maybe some under seal, see if we can get a few more years out of it. But like I say, the base model already came with that black at the bottom there. Don't know, I doubt it would have had under seal on there as well, I'm not sure. Wonder if these lasted a little bit better than the higher models. I'm really not sure. But anyway, there is that very unusual two-door model. We can see very little in the way of bright finishing around the doors, although we do get a bit of a bright finish on the door handle at least. Anyway, let's move up the range. And as we turn the page, I think most people would have at least moved up to the L one time. I think the L makes a little bit more sense overall. Shown here in my favourite Ford 70s colour. Let's have a look at some of the text and then we'll zoom in on this first image. So it starts by saying Cortina L, a lot more Cortina. More standard features, more value for money. The Cortina L comes fully equipped with fabric trim seats, soft feel fascia trim, halogen headlights, driver's door mirror, hazard warning flashes, servo assisted disc brakes and much more. That's Ford value for money. And kind of like one thing that strikes me straight away is driver's door mirror. There it is, we do get a driver's door mirror. Obviously no passenger door mirror at this time, but does that mean the base model didn't even get a driver's door mirror? Indeed, no driver's door mirror on that base model. That's a little bit mean, isn't it? But I mean, the things on it aren't very sort of high spec, but I think most people would have actually at least moved to the L. On there we can see we've got these facelifted rectangular headlights now. It looks like we've got a bit of a tape stripe going down there, and a lot more bright work around the windows, and like I say, that driver's door mirror. Interior certainly looks a lot brighter, a lot nicer in this particular colour, I must admit. And if we look at the dash, pretty basic stuff really, isn't it? No rev counter, etc. And we even get a little bit of a glimpse at the boot area. Pretty nice sized boot actually on these Cortinas. So we can sum this one up saying we can get that 1300 engine or the 1600 optional, rectangular halogen headlights now, driver's door mounted rear view mirror, reclining front seats and additional sound insulation. We also have the higher spec models, both the XL shown on this side and the GT over there. We'll certainly start with the XL model and move over to see what extra you got on the XL. So the Cortina XL complete with the extras that mean such a lot. Extra value for money. The Cortina XL comes fully equipped with fabric trim, real wood veneer instrument surround, centre console with clock, door mounted driver's mirror, inertia rear seat belts and so much more. That's Ford value for money. So the body is of the Cortina Saloon. You can have it as a 1600 or a 2 litre now on 4-door models only. It tells us the Cortina XL has the following exterior equipment over and above the Cortina Saloon. So 2 rectangular semi-sealed halogen headlights incorporating side lights, door mounted driver's mirror, double body side porch lines, rear panel oblique, I should say, bright moulding on drip tray, wheel arches and windows in lieu of black trim treatments, opening rear quarter windows on the 2-door, special wheel trims on 1600 models only, rubber bumper inserts, etc, etc, a different wheel trim by looks of it on the 1600 and the 2 litre, so must be a slightly different wheel trim. Going down to the interior equipment, I'm not going to read it all, but it says the Cortina XL has the following interior equipment over and above that very base model, such things as that real wood veneer instrument surround and automatic chalk controls on the 2 litre. There's a little peep into the interior of the XL, and indeed you can see this veneer treatment on the dashboard. Looks like we also got that rather nice rear armrest on the back seats. And then there is the XL in this rather nice shade of green. Interesting treatment at the back here. You can see the XL badging, and it looks like this particular model is a 1.6 with these unusual looking wheel trims, and we can certainly see all the extra chrome or bright work around the windows there, and this bit of a rubber treatment in the bumpers as well. So we can sum the XL up by saying 1600 or 2 litre engines, reclining front seats, special interior trim, centre console incorporating clock, a tachometer now, and rubber bumper inserts. And then we get the unusual GT, so the Cortina GT for the man who wants to go places fast. No mention of a woman, obviously this is the 70s. Value for money GT performance. The Cortina GT comes fully equipped with fabric trim, real wood veneer instrument surround, centre console and clock, door mounted driver's mirror, inertia reel seat belts, and so much more. That's Ford value for money. Only coming now with a 2 litre engine, look. Extra equipment, the Cortina GT has the following exterior equipment above that base model. So we've got, of course, those rectangular lights, but we've also got a 5.5 inch circular auxiliary halogen lights, door mounted driver's mirror, black painted rear panel, bright mouldings on drip rail, waist rail, wheel arches and side windows in lieu of black trim treatment, opening rear quarter windows on the 2-door, rubber black inserts, black overriders now, black panel mouldings, triple coach lines, and of course sports road wheels and GT badging. I'm not going to read all interior equipments, but basically we've got a soft feel finish to the glove box, we've got that wood veneer, soft feel steering wheel, we've got a rev counter, auto choke, we've got these unusual high back reclining front bucket seats, which we'll have a look in a moment, etc, etc, etc. Extra sound insulation. I think that base model had very little sound insulation on there as well. Oh, and one thing I forgot to kind of like mention is, like I say, all these other models paint right to the bottom. They don't have that little black treatment that the very base model has. Obviously that's the XL. Here's the GT we were talking about. And we can see those extra lights at the front and them overriders and these sports wheels. Like I said, this is obviously a 2-door model. It does show a lady, but she's not driving. Here are those unusual high backed seats of the GT. We could sum the GT up by saying your 2 litre engine, halogen headlamps with them driving lights there as well. These wheels and the sports road wheels and that high backed reclining front seats and the special interior trim. And I thought I might as well throw this extra picture up of the GT because it is such a good looking model. This looks like just a 2-door model, and this is actually from the 76 brochure. You can notice these extra sort of mirrors on the wings on there as well. You can see that coach line. This very nice bronze colour, 2 litre badging, etc. Extra little bits of chrome going around there. But overall, I think certainly this is one of the ones that I think I would be most favouring to pick. You can also see on the 76 model we've got this bit of a trim on the roof as well, sort of a vinyl trim I'm presuming it is. So an interesting model. I did notice also on this 76 brochure it's saying, note the GT is now only available as a 4-door. Well, that's obviously showing the 2-door model. And then going back to the 1975 brochure, it looks like this is a 2-door model as well, but it's telling us we can get a 2 or a 4-door model here. And we can also see those interior unusual seats in a different trim colour there, obviously showing also that sort of a wood treatment on the dash and a little clock and the manual gear lever there. And then we get this, the Cortina 2000E, big on power, lavish on luxury, so your top of the range 1975 Cortina. And if we just quickly go back to the pre-facelift model, obviously when that pre-facelift, the top of the range model was the GXL. You can see it compared to the 2000E. I think like I said, I mean this is my opinion, but because I really do prefer the looks of the pre-facelift, but I kind of think that looks a bit more special than the 2000E in my view. Obviously jot in the comments there what you think, but that looks more of a little bit more special in my view, but there we go. Anyway, we'll go back to the 2000E. Okay, so 2000E, big on power, lavish on luxury, beautiful power value for money. The Cortina 2-litre E comes fully equipped with inertia rear seat belts, head restraints, door mounted driver's mirror, vinyl roof, radial ply tyres, sports road wheels, automatic choke, push button radio, cut pile carpet, exclusive fabric trim and so much more. Now we can only have this as a 4-door now, and we can only have it as a 2-litre. Obviously there is going to be extensive equipment over that base model now. Some of it is obviously repeating itself, but I'm not going to read it all, so you can certainly pause the screen if you do want to read it in any great detail. We do have little special things though, like colour key to vinyl roof, E motif on rear pillars, 2000E badge on boot lid, and of course sports wheels, and the rather extensive interior equipment. But I'm not going to read it all because obviously there is a lot of there. Obviously the brochure review is moving on, but you can imagine a lot more equipment over that very base Cortina. And there is that 2000E, the 2-litre sports wheels, those little overriders on that front bumper there, that vinyl roof, and you can see on that vinyl roof right to the back there's a little bit of a special badge on there as well. We've also got these little bit of a rubbing strip just to protect your doors a little bit, and obviously the little bit of chrome edging around the wheels. But like I say, unlike that base model, no black treatment at the bottom there. The side view, and that would be a little E by the way on the back there, just to denote it being a executive model. Of course we do also get a bit of a front view if I can tune that in a bit better. There we go, there it is from the front. I quite like it in red actually, but you notice at this time even the top of the range one doesn't get a passenger door mirror. And then that front dash, obviously this is an automatic, we get a little bit of an extra little clock in there as well, that sort of wood veneer trim. Colour keyed steering wheel's quite nice, and then we get sort of like wood on the top of the doors there as well. So we can sum that up, all round tinted glass, vinyl roof, those sport road wheels, push button radio, doesn't sound much today but a big deal back then, luxury interior trim and reclining front seats with head restraints. And then we get the estate cars, of course, in various different trim. So you can get the base model, which you can clearly see this is the base model with the round headlights. And you can also get this as an L, an XL, but now you can also get it as a 2000E. So if we go back to 73, when the facelift actually came out, you could only get the Estate as an base model, just called the Cortina Estate, the L or the XL. Now you could actually get it as a 2000E, so you can actually have a high spec estate car with this facelift as well. I'm not going to go through the full text for the Estate, but think similar sort of equipment as the saloon car relatives. But I think we will certainly zoom in and see if we can spot the four models: the base model, the L, the XL, and that new 2000E. So starting at the far left hand side, I was thinking, is this an L or an XL? But it has got a 2-litre badge on, which definitely means it's the XL, and we do get a little bit of a bright work around these wheel arches as well. So we're going to say that's the XL. If we move on, now obviously this is your base model, then front round headlights really give that game away. And of course, again, you can see this sort of dark section at the bottom of the doors. Just pause for a second then in a little bit of confusion. I'm presuming this is not rust. I'm going to say it's just the light, okay? But I know these cars did like to rust. Over the back here is a very rare car. I can't actually remember ever seeing a 2000E estate car with that great big vinyl roof on there. That looks something a little bit special, doesn't it? And down the bottom here, in this rather nice shade of yellow, given away by the fact we're looking from the back, this is definitely the Cortina L. And then we get to the Cortina specifications, so let's have a quick look at those now. A little bit of technical information there about the transmission. So it's a 4-speed, obviously, synchromesh all round, steering rack and pinion, brakes hydraulic, servo assisted front discs, rear drums, and then the suspension, which obviously you can read all that if you want to. He's also telling us the GT has got uprated suspension. And then the engine specifications for the three engine choices, so that 1298cc, 1593cc and at 1998cc. It's telling us that 1300 has got a top speed of 86 miles per hour, 0 to 60 of 18.7 seconds. The 1600 has got a top speed of 93 miles per hour, 0 to 60 in 14 seconds. And the 2-litre top speed 106, 0 to 60 in quite a reasonable for the time, 10.2 seconds. And then we've got all the models there, so the Cortina Saloon, L, XL, GT and 2-litre, and the base Cortina Estate, L, XL, and that very unusual Cortina 2000E Estate. All the little bits and pieces you can get as options. So that brings us up what we're looking at next in this 1975 December Christmas edition of What Car Would You Buy for Christmas? Your next one up is the Mark II Ford Capri. I often think this is very much an overlooked Capri. We kind of forget about them Mark II, don't we? But that's what we'll be looking at next Friday for Ford Friday. So there you go, the 1975 facelifted Ford Cortina for 1975 on this Christmas edition of Ford Friday. Next week, like I say, the Ford Cortina. Would you pick one of the Ford Escorts? Are you happy moving up to the Cortina, or would you rather wait and have a look at the Capri and pick that for your Christmas present on the 25th of December? Thank you so much for watching Quarterlight today. If you've not done already, please do like and subscribe, and we'll see you very soon. Have a great weekend. Take care and goodbye.